It's Wednesday, August 25th, and we are talking superhero TV shows. Titans, Season 3, Episode 4, and on Disney Plus, What If, Episode 3. That's PC Mike. That's the Giggler. I'm Logan. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. I'm your host, Logan, back here in the studio another Wednesday night. That's when we record here in the basement in St. Louis, Missouri, with the fellas, the Giggler, PC Mike. You're getting a big round of applause for both of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Big crowd here tonight, really showing us some love. PC Mike.
Live podcast.
How was your week?
That's good. I know. Work started back.
Yeah, you're back at work.
Yeah.
I'm back, and everyone knows you're an educator. You're back with the kids.
Yep.
How's it going?
I'm here.
How are the children? How are the spirits?
Let's talk superheroes.
Okay. Yeah, this is the escape from the day-to-day.
I do have we did Christmas a while back, exchange gifts, us three.
Yep.
I still have my Batman mug on my desk, and he's there.
I bet that hits it. That's a big, anything superheroes. You're probably the coolest teacher. Probably one of the coolest teachers.
Yeah, I would say I am. But
I concur.
I mean, it is Marvel City right now in the school system.
They're all about it. Are they watching the shows we're watching? Are they watching Loki? And they talk about, like, What If at all?
We haven't got into that yet.
Okay.
But I do say in like my little introduction, if you guys are watching stuff, let me know. I'm always looking for stuff. And
yeah.
So we will see some things. But it's like, they're like, oh, you like Batman? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, man, I like Thor. I'm like, you're a loser.
They're like, man, it's like, I really set them up.
Yeah.
It's like we got to obviously respect the privacy of the children, but getting the general pulse of like what kids are watching, that would be pretty interesting.
It would. But it's Marvel heavy right now.
Okay.
As it probably should be. But
on Disney, of course.
Yeah.
Giggler, how you doing, man? How you been this week?
I'm good, man. All's well. Just chugging along again.
Yeah.
Had some days off over the weekend. Just relaxed a lot.
People that listen to this podcast are probably just like, this guy,
took
you take off every week. I feel like every time you come back, you're like, yeah, had a few good days off.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to be in Mexico, so I get a free pass on this one.
Yeah. How was your weekend? How'd it turn out?
Yeah, it was good. We just laid low. I barely even left the house. So just want to recharge the batteries and go on with life. So that's all we're doing.
Well, how about we nerd out?
Okay.
All right, let's do it. We'll start off as we always do with the fans.
Fan mail.
On Mostly Superheroes, we always feature fans first on this show. You can give us a call, shoot us a text message, leave us a message at 754-CALL-LOG. That's 754-225-5564. Program it into your phone and give us a ring. From the Mostly Superheroes Squad, our exclusive free Facebook group, we have our boy Scotty sharing with us a fun poster. The caption reads, "This what if episode is gonna be wild." And this is an ongoing theory that was even happening like pre-Avengers Endgame about how would the Avengers beat Thanos. Like before we knew how it would all go down, one of the theories was Ant-Man shrinks down, goes up Thanos's butt. And then, like, makes him explode from the inside out. And we got a really nice visual of this from our boy Scotty in the squad.
Literally a foolproof plan.
I mean, we're going to talk about What If today and what you watching. And let's just say this, man. I mean, this plan apparently works.
have you ever seen those memes?
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Have you ever seen those memes where it's the magic school bus and it's this, and they're like, oh God, where's Miss Frizzle taking us today? And it's like they're gonna shrink down and go in.
She's like, today we're gonna go into our substitute teacher. Yeah, thanks, Scotty. Love sharing some fun posters in the squad. This is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of nonsense that goes on in this Facebook group.
It's my favorite post that's been in the squad.
It's a good one.
Year to date, I
I
think.
chuckled when I saw
Yeah.
it.
It was kind of thin in there this week, and I was like, I wonder what I'm gonna bring in. And he dropped this just at the last minute, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is going in. So you can go join that Facebook group. Go check it out. It's the Mostly Superhero Squad. and you get featured just like that in fan mail. We love featuring you fans first. Thanks for subscribing and watching us. We appreciate you. Let's talk about some news.
News and rumors.
News and rumors, pretty light today, but heavy in the sense that it's one big item. It happened.
The biggest.
It happened. All the drama, weeks on end, months on end, no Spider-Man, No Way Home trailer until now. It has dropped, ladies and gentlemen. It finally came. This thing busted out last week. I'm going to give it up.
So much. Give it up so hard.
It's
right
like
now.
I'm scared about this. This is one of those moments where like it was so cool. I'm like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So this is what I'll say. Spoiler alert for the trailer. If you haven't seen it yet, just hit pause, watch it right now, come right back. There's your spoiler alert. Should we just get into it?
Yes, please.
Spider-Man ends, No Way Home ends right after Far From Home. And if you remember, Peter Parker, so spoiler alert for that movie, basically Magneto fooled everyone and outed Peter
Mysterio.
Parker. I'm sorry, what'd I say?
Magneto.
Magneto!
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe in this movie, because this
Maybe.
movie is actually proving that the multiverse is open and wide up. Basically, Peter comes to Doctor Strange and says, like, I don't want anybody to know I'm Spider-Man. And it looks like Dr. Stephen Strange wearing a hoodie, drinking, like, out of a coffee mug. Looks like he's on vacation. It's
Uncle
like
Steve.
Uncle Steve.
Thank you, Scott.
We got Scott from the Facebook group. He called him Uncle Steve in the squad. Cast a big spell, and apparently this inevitably opens up the multiverse. And man, this was a teaser in every sense of the word. And the premise is essentially that whatever this spell does causes all sorts of chaos. And here's the big confirmation, folks. We knew it. It was coming. Alfred, right? Is that his name? Alfred Molina?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Ock, dude. He's back. And so is a
Hello, Peter.
Green Goblin bomb.
We don't know which one, though.
And the laugh.
What if it is the ultimate letdown and it's the
The ugly one from the Amazing
yeah,
Spider-Man.
I don't even know that guy's name, but he was terrible.
No, I'm hoping it's James Franco from Spider-Man 3.
I prefer Willem Dafoe, but that would be a fine. I mean, if both, will get them both, but
But Doc Ock, right there on screen. Hello,
Beautiful.
Hello, Peter.
so good.
I saw a good tweet that was like, he's not talking to Tom Holland probably in that scene.
You never know. Some people think that Doctor Strange is Mephisto, so let's get the F out of here with all these crazy theories already.
Crazy theories.
I mean,
But go ahead, Mike. What'd you think?
I mean, I've been reading the theories. I'm sucked in again.
So am I. I hate it.
You guys going down the WandaVision road again?
A little
Yeah,
bit.
I hate it.
But why would why would Doctor Strange want to cast this spell to control the whole world just because Peter's having a rough go?
And
I don't know.
Not only that, but he also seemed like just aloof. I put out some tweets and I was thinking the same thing. Like, why is he just kind of dumb in this one? Wu's like, don't cast that spell. And Doctor Strange is like, I won't.
Wink,
And he
wink.
leaves. He's like,
Whoop, whoop.
You see the meme where it's like Phase 4, the year of the wink or something like that, and it's
just
that
winks.
Agatha Harkness, who else?
Probably more.
Kang in the finale of Loki.
He did that too?
Yeah,
They're
there's
just-
one
they're-
other. There's one other one I can't remember it. But
They're just having everybody
just-
wink.
yeah.
They're basically just winking at us saying, like, you're welcome for all this superhero content. Man, this looked pretty cool. I did think it felt a little campy. Like, it's just a teaser. Again, like, Doctor Strange is kind of dumb. Like, what's going on with that? Can't wait to see. But, I mean, this was a teaser.
Mm.
I mean, this was just, Tom Holland said it, this is the scratch of the surface. This is tip of the iceberg. And, yeah, I did want to feature some thoughts from people online. So I did put out, hey, dude, why is Doctor Strange being a dummy in this? And I actually replied to a tweet from Eric Davis on Twitter. If you're a big movie buff person, you might realize Eric Davis is with Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes. And, he put out a tweet quoting, I'm not sure if he's quoting Kevin Feige here or who, but this is a great quote. The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little, which is just a great quote because it's like, yeah, where are they going to take this multiverse stuff, first of all? And I replied and I said, can't wait. Doctor Strange is being dumb, though. What's up with that? And he replied and said, something is definitely up with that. Like, he's picking up on the same thing. Like, is this actually Doctor Strange? Is Doctor Strange under a spell of his own? I mean, their house is filled with snow.
I don't get it. Why
He's got a
so?
weird look too, like a different vibe.
He's wearing a hoodie.
I believe that quote is from the trailer. I think Doctor Strange says it.
Okay.
And that's
If
what
I'm-
he's...
Or I can't remember. It's definitely in that trailer, though.
Is there some Wanda stuff happening? Maybe Wanda's doing stuff.
Well,
like
the
that's-
big theory that I keep seeing people put out in memes is that all these things are happening at the same time.
Okay.
Loki multiverse breakdown with what happened at the end, not getting too into
well, they
it.
do that one with WandaVision when she becomes the
Scarlet,
Witch, and then you line them up,
Yep. The timing.
the timing of the
Of the
last
episode.
episodes, and it lines exactly when Kang looks like
He goes,
Something.
we just crossed the threshold.
those line up perfectly, so I can see that. This feels. Is this after?
Exactly. Or is it the exact same time? You know, people were saying like Doctor Strange, man. We were kind of saying that, you know, other people made the multiverse kind of spew out. Seems like maybe he is part of it as well. And whatever's happening is tying directly to what we know as the Spider-Verse. So let's just talk about this real quick. This movie's coming out, still scheduled for December. And Andy, you brought up a great point. You shot us a text and said in the group chat and said, you know, you had friends that were reaching out and asking you about the other Spider-Man movies and where to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know. I don't think any of your friends or any of us would have realized how great of a question this is, because
Or
it
how
is
hard of a question it is
Yeah.
to answer?
difficult. If you're looking to see these things, I'm hoping it'll change up in the next few months to where these things become more accessible. But for the moment, I thought it'd be fun to just give a breakdown for you. If you're going for the MCU, Tom Holland Spider-Man, you're like, I just want to watch them all. Captain America Civil War introduces the character. You can watch that on Disney Plus, along with basically all of the non-Spider-Man MCU films. They're all on Disney Plus. Spider-Man Homecoming, that comes after Civil War. You can only rent or buy this movie. Unless you have FX, which you can watch this like on FX on demand or on FX like during live TV, you will have commercials. Go ahead.
I wonder if Hulu is a partner with FX. I wonder if it's somewhere there.
It might be there, or I'll tell you another thing. Anything I mentioned during this little spiel about rent or buy, essentially, if you have Hulu Live, which is like $70 a month, you basically have everything.
I have. When's this episode drop?
This one that we're doing right now?
Yes.
On Monday. You should be listening to this on Monday, September 30th, or if you're a Patreon patron, just go to mostlysuperheroes.com/Patreon. You get it on the 29th, Sunday. But why?
Because it's going to be Far From Home is airing on FX a lot coming up.
They're just going to be
Good.
broadcasting it. Yeah.
So for listeners,
Tell them.
Saturday 9/4 at 4 p.m.
Just get to FX, or if you have Hulu Live,
or Sunday 9/5 at 1:30. You can catch Far From Home
Far From Home.
on FX.
No, that's Homecoming, but you looked up Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Okay.
Because I remember I watched Far From Home on Amazon Prime.
Uh-huh.
But now as I look it up like you did, it's $3.99.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Rent or buy it. And then in between, you definitely got to see between Homecoming and Far From Home, you need to see the arc of this Peter Parker, and that's Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and those are on Disney Plus. And then Far From Home would come after. All right, so you got to watch more than that.
Click.
That's just one.
That's just one group of movies. Now we're talking about in my mind, in my childhood, in my life, like the OG Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi's films. All three of these are on Stars. Spider-Man 2 is also on Sling.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's so complicated, man. You know how long it took me to look each movie up and be like, is it really only on Stars?
That's crazy.
I also confirmed that Stars is added through Amazon Prime. It's not like just included with Amazon Prime. So you may have I think you paid for it.
Well,
to watch
whoever I use, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Got 'em good.
evil laugh.
Got him good.
Whenever you log your Netflix, you're like, I'll never give it back.
Who has spent $90 on Heels?
Heels, the wrestling TV show. So that's the Sam Raimi films. Those are on Stars. And then lastly, we do have characters coming from The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starring Andrew Garfield. I mean, this is real Spider-Verse-y stuff. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, it's on Stars. Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of these that you got to rent or buy or go watch on FX, or maybe like you said, Mike, on Hulu maybe. But not, I mean, it's not like on Hulu demand. I already checked.
I saw a recent poll.
Okay.
I think it was today on Twitter or something,
Mm-hmm.
like ranking the best Spider-Mans. It might have been an IGN.
That'd be fun.
They gave Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi, Spider-Man 2 #1 overall.
Yeah.
And this Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was last.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, last.
That's
That's good.
a pretty obvious choice, I think.
I agree with that too. But the Spider-Man 2, even the original Spider-Man,
Yeah.
so good. And then I thought I'd include it because who knows? But Spider-Man
great
Into the
choice.
Spider-Verse, the animated one. I mean, if you're even wanting to get kind of familiar with like where this movie could go, Spider-Man No Way Home, Into the Spider-Verse might be a good little precursor, because that was what that movie's all about.
Mhm.
And man, what a film. And you can watch that. You have to rent or buy that too.
It used to be on Netflix. It might pop back up on Netflix before the movie comes out. It seems like Netflix kind of does that.
Yep.
Like studios kind of pump it. Like, hey, let's get some
Good
people, some eyeballs. So
Yeah, and I know, and I always wonder about how all those deals happen. Like, okay, this movie's coming out. What does Netflix do? How do they get their hands on it? And I also saw that a lot of the ones that I mentioned weren't available. If you're listening from other countries, I think the UK, for example, some of these might be available to you on Netflix. So if you're
Yeah.
listening outside of the US, you should definitely check like multiple platforms.
isn't that wild?
It's insane.
It's
Like
so
in
weird.
London, you get a different Netflix than we do because your VPN's different.
I mean, I don't understand that one. I couldn't even begin to understand
No.
like why
People change their
Why?
like VPN locations just to get different shows.
Yeah.
And there's ways, I'm not condoning this,
Okay.
that you can look it up and do it.
Oh, sure. Like,
Okay.
yeah. There's like shady ways to use the internet.
Yeah.
We're familiar with. Andy, I didn't really ask you, man, but how would you think of that trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home?
I just can't wait, man. Please don't push it back, no matter what.
Well, we're not looking good.
I know. I'm scared.
One of Spider-Man's biggest villains of all time, at least in the comics, Venom. Sony's new Spider-Verse, apparently. That's what they call their movie Cineverse
Yeah,
now.
they keep changing it.
And
It's like really weird.
well, what's funny about it is it's Spider-Verse with absolutely no Spider-Man. Like these movies
For now.
for the moment.
For now.
But it got pushed back to when?
I don't think it's official yet.
Venom?
They're thinking January, but I think they might have retract their statement today. Who knows? But all I see here is 6 more movies that we're going to be talking about in depth in the next 3 months.
Yeah,
So,
and absolutely, we got to put them on the list. Like I know, like we made a big priority for the DC rewatch. We're still gonna do it, but we got to get. We're gonna watch all these Spider-Man movies.
yes,
We have to.
yes, I have to get. Yeah, I mean, but what do you guys think of? So we saw potentially 5 of a Sinister 6 in this trailer.
Yeah, we haven't really broke it down yet. I mean, we saw Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. We see teases of a Green Goblin. We see teases of Electro because of the lightning, but you don't really see him yet. You see teases of Sandman,
Yes,
but you don't really see Sandman. You just see like
Yeah.
sand.
all those are pretty loose. Some of those are pretty loose, like you don't know for sure. But also, there was a scene where you could see the lizard for like a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It was like in a cage
It's
behind.
very
behind-
hard
yeah,
to see that one.
they had to like
You gotta be
slow the
really
frames
looking.
down really fast to see anything. But it maybe wasn't even it. But it's fun to talk about.
It's crazy how much it seems like being ousted as Peter Parker and Spider-Man like has just ruined his life. I'm just like Tony Stark did it on purpose.
Yeah,
But
That's
like,
true.
but Tony Stark like was a billionaire. Like Peter lives in Queens, so it might be a little different.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Happy looked like he was in some trouble in the trailer. So
It's hard to predict anything past like what we've seen because this movie's already more wild than anything we've ever seen.
100%.
Like never seen anything like this. Never seen a movie that's going to be pulling in all the different franchises. It's like I have no idea how this movie will end. I mean, I could once we start talking about it, probably week after week, probably get some solid predictions, but I have no idea right now. PC Mike, what'd you think of this?
I mean, I'm interested. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do, get me interested. A lot of questions. I felt the trailer got a huge amount of buzz, but I felt like the online community was a little split. Maybe not split, like 75% let's go, 25% on what's going on. Because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't read into the spoilers, but I saw a TikTok of they're taking a pretty famous comic from Spider-Man, and it's almost exactly as this graphic novel or comic from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And people are like, hate the comic. A lot of people do.
Oh, yeah, you can't
So-
base it on that. We know they make these things so
Yeah,
different.
So I don't know. But want to see more.
Mhm.
It's kind of wild that these multiverses and things are coming out with the Flash suit 2 coming,
Mhm.
and they're kind of doing the same thing. It's
Absolutely.
like, really? Like, I can't even wrap my head around this. And like, you're throwing the Flash with Keaton Batmans at me? Like,
That's why the DC Marvel crossover's coming.
Well, at this point, I mean, I think it's inevitable. If the
Yeah.
trajectory doesn't change, I don't know where we'll be in 10 years. Like,
I mean, it'll be a Star Wars, Pirates of the Caribbean, any Disney property all thrown together.
so you're talking about Space Jam 2?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like actual things happening.
Yeah, right. Actual ramifications. But
Or like
I mean,
Luke Skywalker's throwing on a jersey with LeBron.
hell yeah. Or hey, Luke Skywalker versus Superman. Probably be a pretty good fight.
Wild.
All right, Spider-Man No Way Home. The trailer finally came, and it's out there, so go check it out. We got ours from comicbook.com. We'll have a link to that in today's description. That's it for the news today. Plenty to talk about with Spider-Man. We'll have all of this in today's episode and in the description so you can find out where these Spider-Man movies live. You're going to have to catch yourself up to be prepared. All right, let's talk about what we're watching.
What you watching?
What you watching? This will tell you what we're watching, what we're reading each and every week. And we always promise to feature fans first on the show. We actually have a last-minute edition just today, and the Mostly Superheroes Squad, the best place to get featured on the show. And this one comes at us from our boy Mike, who Andy knows very well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on our Fast and Furious episode way back when. He commented and said he's watching The Americans on Prime Video. This is an FX show. If you're not familiar, I'm just going to give it up right now. Have you guys seen this show?
No, but I've heard great things, and it might be one on the radar. Seriously. Like, I was talking to a guy the other day, and I was kind of, because he started Sopranos for me, and I was like, all right, give me a couple shows you want me to watch.
A trade.
A little trade-off. And
Yeah.
he gave me this or Vikings. And The Americans does a little bit more for me than Vikings, I think.
I would call The Americans a must-watch.
Okay.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, really great. I mean, from episode 1 all the way through the end, these actors are so great. I wish I had their names in front of me because I always forget each of their names. One of them was the girl that played Felicity. Remember?
Carrie Russell.
Good job.
Wow.
And then that guy.
I didn't even look this up. That was not PC Mike.
Can you
That
see
was,
do you know who this is?
No.
Oh, I'm really failing now as the
All
podcast.
right, I'll look it up now.
Please, you're going to have to. And while you're doing that, I'll just say this premise. Russian spies living in the Cold War era as Americans. And that's why the show is called The Americans. And it follows the life of this married couple who have American kids, like full-blown raised American kids, but the adults, are Russian spies. And they end up getting intertwined with their community. They end up having an FBI agent that lives just like a few doors down that they like end up being friends with because they're neighbors. And it's just, where's it go?
Matthew Rhys.
Mm-hmm.
RHYS.
Mm-hmm. And were you right about the girl? The gal?
Yeah. Duh.
I didn't know.
She's a smoke.
Who's that?
Carrie Russell. She's a smoke show.
Oh, a smoke show?
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast you knew her name.
It was on the tip of my tongue. But you helped there.
Have you seen it?
No, not at all. I'm
So he's
interested,
watching it without you.
though. Oh yeah, he stays up way later than us.
For you listeners that don't know, this is Andy's roommate. It's freaking hilarious. He's like, yeah, I'll just watch this one on my own.
Does it have a Homeland vibe to it?
That's
I've never seen Homeland.
I've watched the first 4 seasons of Homeland, and the first 4 seasons were really good.
Yeah,
I kind of fell off after that, but
I can't
Claire
answer it.
Danes.
Yep.
Claire Danes show.
Claire
Oh my
Danes.
god, that's one of my favorite shows ever.
it kind of fell off when they were doing other stuff.
It definitely went off a cliff at one point. But
Homeland did.
if this is anything like that, I'm down.
But Homeland swept the Emmys their first 2 seasons, must watch.
Super
I'm
good.
sure this one has awards.
It does.
It's unbelievable. It's on FX. Looks like he's watching it on Prime Video. Mike, thanks for shouting us out in the Facebook group. You too can get featured during What You Watching just like that. Super, super easy. Andy, I'd feature you, but you're on the podcast, so I see your comment here. He also commented it with what you're going to be talking about, which we'll get to in a minute. Let's start with PC Mike. First up, tell us about this show. I already know it. I love it. I'm not caught up on it. I think I'm a couple behind, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine, man.
I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine came back. It is the final season. I think I started watching. I didn't start it when it first came out. I started watching it probably 2 years ago and kind of caught up, and then I stuck with it season 6 and now season 7. Hilarious. The characters. Captain Holt is my favorite.
He's the best.
If you go to my Peacock, he is my little emoji guy on there.
Mine's Leslie Knope.
Because I just think he's hilarious. I think he makes me cry every time I watch it. The characters all bring something. Season 7, I will say the first episode, the premiere of season 7, kind of tackled some things I didn't think Brooklyn Nine-Nine necessarily would, because they are a police force.
They're taking on some.
So they kind of took
topics?
on some of that.
Okay.
It kind of made me like,
Hey, what are we doing?
what are we doing?
Because this is a funny show.
Yeah, but then episode 2, they kind of got back to their roots. So I guess they had to make a statement coming out.
Yep.
It was still good. It was still funny. I still laughed. But great. This is one that you can just throw on. It's kind of like The Office, and you can just watch, or Parks and Rec, kind of all those shows.
Yep.
You can just throw on. It's feel good. You don't really have to overthink anything. You'll laugh.
Yep.
kind of wind down from work and enjoy it. So Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I'm sure a lot of you listening have watched it, but season 7 is their last season.
Yep.
Hopefully they end with a bang.
And yeah, thanks. Great review. Totally agree. Get out there and watch it if you haven't seen this one. Easy one to put on Peacock. It's on NBC. Yeah, Andy Samberg, Chelsea Peretti, Terry Crews. Just a hilarious cast, and they have a great chemistry. Andy, you ever seen this one?
No, never have. It's a big. Our roommate Mike is a big fan of this as well, so this is right up his alley. But
I saw
I've
that
seen
they,
him watch a few, and it seemed funny, but nothing I've ever like been like, oh, I need to start Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm 7 seasons behind.
Right, yeah, and it's like not one you have to like hurry up and rush to get through.
No.
Like Mike said, it's like just throw it on. I saw they mentioned the Snyder Cut, I guess, in a recent episode. I saw like a meme about that like I guess
I have to go back.
yeah, it was I think it was like the last episode it came up,
Hell yeah.
which
I just watched it like 2 days ago.
so it wasn't in that one
I don't know. I can't remember.
because you were watching it like you said, easy watch,
Yeah.
turn off the brain.
I would say this is like a summer watch.
Oh,
So like not much is going on new TV wise. You can throw it on, watch a couple episodes here, a couple episodes there, a couple lazy days. It's not like pressing. It's not like I have to have my finger on the pulse of this.
it's great for a teacher in the summertime.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, PC Mike, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Andy. Saw this in the Facebook group. You can get a sneak peek if you're getting there. It's on HBO Max. Tell us about The White Lotus. I believe this is a TV show.
Yes.
And it's just reading here, the limited series follows the episodes of the exploits of various. Can you read this? Oh, here. Okay.
Various guests and employees at an exclusive tropical resort over the span of a week.
Over the span of a week.
Yes.
Oh,
So it takes place in Hawaii. We got some decent. I like the cast here a lot.
Yeah.
Stifler's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't know her real name.
Don't either.
Steve Zane. I'm not sure what that's the main guy. Connie Britton.
Yep. Connie Britton. She's great.
Alexandra Daddario.
Yep.
She's great. So the show starts. It's 6 episodes. They're all about 45 minutes or so each. I would put this overall like maybe a little bit below like the Mayor of Easttown on like HBO Max level stuff.
But still on that
It's
level.
full, yeah. I'm maybe a little bit below that. That was special.
Oh, that was
You don't find shows like that.
that
all
was
the
an
time
amazing
in my
watch.
eyes. But this was still. I would recommend this to just about anybody. Like it was funny. It's like basically just a lot of comedy, a lot of drama. But starts with, and this isn't even a spoiler because this happens in the first minute of the show. So
It's like,
basically
it's like the
starts
premise.
starts with the husband here. God, I gotta look. I don't even know what his name is.
That's
but
all right.
He was in the office.
Which one? And
The
guy in the green?
yeah.
Does he Shane Patton in the show?
Yeah.
Jake Lacey's his name.
Okay.
That's
so,
the actor.
Yeah, he's married to Alexandra Daddario. So, opening scene is he's in the airport on his way home, not with anyone, and then basically he's talking to a couple. He's in a clearly bad mood. He's talking to a couple across from him, and they're like saying stuff like just talking like when you talk to strangers, just shooting the shit or whatever.
Yeah,
and he gets pissed off because he doesn't want to talk to him, and they show like a casket being wheeled to the airplane that he's getting on, so you know that somebody died, and it kind of goes back to the beginning of the week when this started, and he's on his honeymoon with Alexandra Daddario.
don't spoil this thing.
I'm not. That's like the first minute of the show.
Still, if I was listening, I'm like, I once I start hearing details, I get scared. I'm like,
No, but then the whole show is basically leading up to who's the dead person.
it's like what's in the casket? Who's in the casket?
You assume things.
It's like a clue almost.
Yeah.
Or like Knives Out.
Honestly, that's what the vibe got. Like, yeah, kind of like that.
Kind of
But
like,
it's
like the mystery.
Yeah,
Murder
yeah.
mystery.
Yeah, kind of. But it was also like,
was this a one and done limited series, like 6 episodes and it's over? Or is this gonna be like season 2?
I wouldn't see a season 2 for this really, but you never know.
You're giving a thumbs up over there.
HBO officially renewed The White Lotus for season 2.
I'll give it up for it. It's doing well.
Yeah, I didn't want to give up anything on the plot
Yeah.
based on that question. So, but I mean, I guess.
Well, that'll get people enticed too. It's like, if this thing went so well that they're going to do it again, and if it's on HBO, come
Yeah.
on. PC Mike, you seen this?
No.
Okay.
I wanted Andy to sell it to me, and he did
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is it more drama or is it more comedy or thriller?
Or is it dramedy?
Dramedy.
Dramedy.
Nah. It's a good mix of all three, honestly.
Okay.
That's a good question. I mean, I laughed a lot for sure. The cast is good.
Because again, this is one of those online. I saw a lot of like I really like it, or meh.
Yeah, it's like
Mm.
5 people told me about it in the same week, and I was like, all right, I'm watching this, and I wasn't disappointed at all. Honestly, I didn't. It's one of the times where like I didn't look how many episodes were in the season, and we're like, for some reason I had in my head there was like 10, and we're on episode 6,
And it's over.
and we're halfway through, and I'm like,
Is this the finale?
uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always tell. I can always tell. I'm like, this is the finale.
I thought I was gonna have 4 more hours or so to watch this to take up my Sunday. Now what the heck am I gonna do?
left you wanting more.
Yeah.
All right, The White Lotus, HBO. I'll just tell you right now, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, you should. It's slightly above Outer Banks on my listing of things you guys should watch, just so you know.
I already told Andy during Patreon, like we almost watched it, but not quite yet. We're gonna still work toward it. So, White Lotus, HBO Max. Listener, let us know if you're watching this out there and what you think. Go join that Facebook group and tell us. And one more before we move on to our last piece of what you watching. You got one more thing?
No.
Oh, I thought you.
No, just
I can usually tell whenever
I'm just-
Mike's leaning in for like one more piece. I was like, you
I'm
got
just
something else?
sturdy in this mic. It was kind of shaking a little.
I got one thing.
Go ahead.
After I look at the wrestling belt over there.
Yeah.
Who watched SummerSlam this weekend?
I watched SummerSlam this weekend.
You know I didn't.
I know. I knew you didn't. I just had to ask.
Go ahead before I get to this one. How did SummerSlam go? And give everybody an update. And do you do spoiler alert for stuff like this?
I don't know.
I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll be a week and a half.
Okay.
I was
there you go.
excited
2
for John Cena's return. He lost Roman Reigns in the final
Oh, were you
final
bummed?
match. Brock Lesnar came out and beat the shit out of him. So
Becky Lynch is back, the man.
yeah,
Did you guys watch it on Sunday?
It was actually aired on Saturday, so I
Yeah, it was weird.
did watch it on Sunday morning.
Nice.
I kind of knew some spoilers, but I was like, I'll watch it. I got to fast forward through some things. It was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was a really good show overall.
Yeah. I had it on TV too. No sound. Just
No sound? Just it's sitting in the
What
silence?
was on TV1? What did it get bumped?
we were watching White Lotus, and then we moved over to Dirty John.
Dirty John.
Yes.
Nice. You enjoying that?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
that's pretty fun, huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize it starred Eric Bana, so that's great.
You're literally watching 2 things on your TV on your 2 TVs.
Yeah, it's great. This is
And then football season's
Yeah,
coming up.
exactly.
There might be a third.
Yeah, and you get wrestling, football, and then something on Netflix or something.
you guys can come over.
How did
It's
this
a fact.
SummerSlam compare to other SummerSlams that have happened
It's actually the most watched and most profitable SummerSlam of all time.
on Peacock? Right.
So like everyone's trashing like the wrestling. They call them another wrestling term, marks.
What's the mark? What are marks? This is a great podcast for people to learn about wrestling because
So-
I know nothing about this stuff.
So marks are people that think like they're smarter than the wrestling business. They're very educated in pro wrestling.
But they work in the industry.
Some do, or
Okay.
some are just online commenters.
Yeah.
Me and Andy in some capacity could be marks because we know kind of the ins and outs of the business.
Do you consider yourself a mark? Mark?
No,
No, I'm Andy.
no, I don't think so.
Shouldn't have laughed way too hard at that.
I
All
don't
right.
think so. But they're saying WWE's like AEW, the promotion is catching up. They just had CM Punk come out in one of the greatest returns ever. Everyone knew he was coming, and all he did was talk on the mic for 3 minutes.
Of course.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, WWE's losing all these people. They're doing this. And then this comes out. It's the most profitable, most watched SummerSlam of all time. WWE is doing fine.
And you and
I know.
for you guys, I mean, we've been talking about this stuff all year. I mean, are you guys take breaks from wrestling? It seems like you
Yeah.
come back. Like, are you guys getting like in the groove right now?
No, this is kind of my downtime
Okay.
until Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'm a big 4 pay-per-view only right now. I'm not going to turn it on for the 6 hours a week that I used to.
You
it's
used
just
to be
not
10.
It's not as good anymore. It's just really not.
Okay. It's not as good.
It's a little stale. There's too much on television.
This is so interesting. If you're a wrestling fan out there, we want to hear from you for sure. We need to bring in I need to get some outside wrestling fans to reach out to the show.
Yeah.
Call 754 call log.
They do say SmackDown's the best it's ever been. So
We'll see.
That's
Well,
on
of
Friday
course they're
nights.
going to say that. They're going to keep saying it.
no, like people that I talk to.
Oh, real people.
Yeah.
All right, SummerSlam, that happened. White Lotus, HBO Max, thanks, Andy. And then I have an HBO Max title, a movie that I saw a trailer for during the Suicide Squad, starring Hugh Jackman, called Reminiscence. I'm just going to get the rating out of the way. It's a 2.5.
Higher than I thought after her text, but
Carrie did
Um,
say you guys were going to see it, so
She was right. She called it. Yeah, I just want to get the rating out of the way because you can just tell in my voice how it went. It was fine. It was a movie that took place basically in a distant future where a war, this is spoiler free, by the way, just kind of premise. A war happened. It's 50 to 100 years in the future. the coolest part of the whole movie for me was the world has been flooded. And the city is like kind of like New York City. Picture it like half underwater, and now like it's like a water town. People like use boats to get around, and it essentially has no part of the story though. And it's Hugh Jackman, and they have this technology that can essentially you can view people's memories in real time using this machine, and you can also like pull out their memories and like store them like kind of like in a jump drive. And it comes in handy. It's like, how does this affect crime, and like how do you like solve a mystery? And it's all around one woman that Hugh Jackman is involved with. And it's about him and his journey through basically his memories and the memories of others to try to solve this big mystery. Thriller, what's going on? What's this girl doing? What's she all about? And it's all leading to a big climax at the end that just kind of falls short, if I'm being honest. But like that's just me. That's spoiler-free. Reminiscence is on HBO Max and theaters. This is one of their dual releases. So this is in both right now. And I would say absolutely don't watch this unless you just want to.
What was that one movie you watched the other day that got like a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Out of Death
Yep.
with Bruce Willis. You should watch that. It's better than this.
No.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm telling you.
How about I'll watch neither?
If you watch neither, I understand. I can't convince anybody to watch either of those movies with the ratings they have out there. But if you're a Hugh Jackman fan, he might save the movie, honestly, because I love Hugh Jackman. I love everything he's in. I just can't take my eyes off him. I think he's such a great actor. And like any role he's in, I'm interested in. But, man, the movie itself, the story, I was just like, man, who cares? Reminiscence. See it if you want.
It has 38% higher on Rotten Tomatoes than Out of Death.
Well,
This is sitting at a 38% Out of Death out of 0.
this is great because I love to compare how I feel to what the internet says, and I'm just coming in here being honest.
I mean, they both fail if we're going to grade them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, this one felt like even weird. It was like, where'd this come from? And the poster makes it look kind of like Blade Runner. It's definitely not Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what it reminds me of.
oh yeah, the colors and everything. It's almost like seems like that's what they were going for, and it's in the future.
Yeah.
Will you guys watch this?
No.
Okay, there you go. All right, one last what you watching. You can go check that one out, HBO Max. Tell us what you're watching. We'll get you featured. Before we get to the break, today for the meat, we are talking about Titans on HBO Max. Can't wait to get to episode 4 and break it down with you guys. For now, we are talking about MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The multiverse is real. Movies and TV shows are entangled, and we're talking about the first animated series, the 28th title in the MCU. Talking about What If, a story where the watcher gives you 25-minute episodes, alternate versions of characters you know. Our first 2 have been kind of a mixed bag. Episode 1, Peggy Carter, what if she became the first super soldier? Episode 2, miles better, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? And I'm going to say it, guys, the best one yet. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? If I can get it out. 34 minutes, Nick Fury struggles to launch the Avengers when candidates are targeted by a serial killer. So much fun, really cool. You're going to hear some familiar voices. We're going to break open the story, talk all about it. And I want to hear how you guys felt about this one, especially, when you compare it to the other 2. Giggler, let's start with you. How'd this one go for you? Episode 3 of What If?
Loved it. Probably about as much as the last one.
Of the T'Challa?
I really liked this felt like just like a great throwback, just to like see
and
this
here.
time period back. I mean, when did Avengers even come out? Like
2012.
12? Yeah, 10 years ago, just about. So it was a nice little throwback to see
Familiar faces.
all these characters together again, even though most of them died. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for sure. What if? We're going to get into it, break it wide open. And PC Mike, you want to tell the fans?
Yeah, had to work, people.
What if Mike didn't watch it and we get to spoil everything for him right on camera?
My guys are going to explain it to me. I'm just going to close my eyes and visualize like I'm watching.
You're just going to picture art?
Yeah. Stills.
All right, we'll tell you all about it. Let's break it open and talk about the story. So,
Hey, and in fairness, this
ahead.
came out at 3 a.m. or something today.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're recording on the same day. I just want to get that out there.
And people don't realize we do record essentially right after work.
Yeah.
We have about an hour break, and then we get in here and break it down. So no worries. You got to be like me and watch it on your lunch break. Like, I mean, you're at your phone.
Shh. Quiet. What if song?
Don't you eat in the cafeteria?
No.
Oh, man, I'd be eating in the cafeteria. I'd be eating the cafeteria lunch.
COVID cafeteria?
Oh, is that what they call it?
Well, I just did.
Yeah.
big room full of people?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out in my corner and hang.
I bet you
Just
got a cool classroom. Actually,
I'll take a video and I'll send it to you guys one day.
please do.
Not the listeners. That's creepy, but
Yeah. All right. Well,
Logan and Andy, I'll show you.
well, you missed it. We'll tell you about it. Don't worry, Mike. We'll fill you in. Episode 3, What If? Yeah, let's just get into the story. Spoiler alert, we're giving it to you. Again, what's the premise? The Watcher up in space is telling you about the prism of time and all the different options. And what happens here? Basically, you get dropped into Nick Fury and Natasha Romanoff in a car right around the time of Iron Man 2, if you're familiar. And the coolest part, right off the bat, Robert Downey Jr., he's in this. That's his voice. Mike, this is where I'll need your help on the PC. Samuel L. Jackson, that's him. And I'll tell you this, it was not Scarlett Johansson playing Natasha Romanoff. I could just tell.
Definitely not.
And if you have a name, yeah, he's looking. While you're doing that, you might remember this part from Iron Man 2 when Tony has that bad virus in his body from the shrapnel. It's like poison in him. And they give him a shot to save him. Well, this time, the shot kills him.
Have to watch him die again.
Yeah. And he didn't even say, like, I am Iron Man. He just goes, falls to the ground. First, 2 minutes of the episode?
It was. I was so sad. Even though it was a comic. But
You didn't even get to see, like, the Iron Man suit, like, fly or anything. He's just in it. He's just in it, walking around with his head out. Did you find a name?
Lake Bell.
Lake Bell.
Interesting.
And I mean,
Lake Bell is one of those faces that you've seen, but you don't know who she is.
do you think that Scarlett Johansson, this is why she sued Disney?
No, I don't know.
I don't think
She's
so.
not in it. I mean, they recorded this 2 years ago, essentially, probably. They've been sitting on it for a long time. It's an animated series. Why didn't they get her in there? Same as Batista.
And then Lake Bell is currently the voice of Poison Ivy in the HBO series, Max series, Harley Quinn.
I've heard good things about that Harley Quinn show.
I haven't
Yeah, I've never seen it, but
never seen it.
I really have. I've heard adults telling me it's good. But anyway, we're in MCU right now. So yeah, he dies. They don't know why. They arrest Natasha Romanoff. This is right when Nick Fury is trying to put together the Avengers Initiative. And this episode basically takes place over a 4-day period. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They do this is Monday. Iron Man dies. And Friday. Tuesday. Who's next? Oh, the story of Mjolnir. And who else do we get in this thing? We get, obviously this is Thor. Hawkeye, played by Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner. That's Jeremy Renner. Phil Coulson is back.
Yes, he's back. That made me so happy.
Clark Gregg. Clark Gregg?
Gregg.
Two first names.
Best part was Steph goes, that nerd guy's back?
Oh, and
it's like, wait, who?
And he's still
Coulson, duh.
And he's still fanboying out about Captain America.
He is.
Loving it. His password for the computer is #Steve.
I love Steve.
Yeah, I love Steve. Was that Chris Hemsworth? It was?
I believe
Nice.
so.
He didn't have many lines. Because
Well, I mean,
you know
Robert
why?
Downey Jr. had 2 lines.
And then he's gone.
Then
Yeah.
he's dead.
Robert Downey Jr. did not do the voice.
It wasn't him?
Mick Wingert.
Wow. I thought it was him for sure.
Oh, man. I feel dumb. I thought that was confirmed.
Scarlett
way back when.
Johansson didn't do it. Robert Downey Jr. did not. Liv Tyler didn't do this.
Liv Tyler. Who'd she play?
Betty Ross.
Oh, yeah, that definitely wasn't her. Well, hold on, let's go through it. So you got Thor first. This is the big scene from the Thor movie where he tries to lift Mjolnir and he doesn't. But before he even gets to grab the thing, Clint accidentally, when a lightning bolt goes off, shoots an arrow right into his heart. Thor's dead. Iron Man's dead. Thor's dead. That's Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, who's next? Bruce Banner, I believe.
Oh, what the hell?
This is insane.
One of the most crazy scenes I've seen, animation or not, honestly.
From beginning to end. But let's talk about some cool stuff they did. They very much acknowledge the Incredible Hulk in this movie. The movie. They very much do. Even though it's Mark Ruffalo, it was him.
It was weird.
He was in the credits. And then his Betty Ross, Thunderbolt Ross's daughter. You might remember the scene when Edward Norton is at the university and there's a big fight scene. He turns into Hulk. That basically happens in this movie again. It's the same university. They drew it exactly the same.
Yep.
And I was like, this is straight from the movie. That's cool. But it's Mark Ruffalo. So Edward Norton's just nowhere. He's with
It's so weird.
he's with the daughter. The daughter's helping Black Widow to try to figure out how she accidentally killed Tony Stark. All the meanwhile, simultaneously, Loki shows up in New Mexico. And he's basically trying to challenge S.H.I.E.L.D. and the world because he's like, hey, we found out you killed my brother. He's there with Asgardians. He's not there with the Shatari army like he was in Avengers. He's there with Asgardians, and he's like, somebody killed my brother in this. If you're wondering, it was Tom Hiddleston. Had to be.
Much more diplomatic this time around.
Yeah, he was. He was like more willing to talk. He hadn't quite gotten to where he was at the end of Thor. He is just still kind of just a mischievous god. So he's negotiating with Nick Fury. The whole thing is, listen, we didn't kill your brother. Help us figure out who did. Back at the university, Incredible Hulk, he hulks out, and he's fighting the soldiers just like he did in that
Thunderbolt
movie.
too. Thunderbolt Ross, he was fighting. Right?
And Thunderbolt, he had a gun like to him and all that. And out of nowhere, like no explanation, he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and his shoulders start. And you're like, what the? And he explodes. Hulk's dead.
He literally just turned to dust. Like he looked
goo.
exactly like that.
Goo. Look behind Mike.
Look at that thing. It's like a mixture of both of those.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just like the.
That's some strong ass tape.
Yeah, Hulk. That's pretty much what happened in the show. Except he just explodes. He's dead. Betty Ross. She's like, no. Oh, and then Thursday, who's next? Actually, I think it might have happened the same day he
Black
killed
Widow?
Thor. Well, no,
Oops.
Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
And he's in the office, and he dies. Nick Fury calls Natasha, and he goes, Barton's dead. And, I mean, this relationship of these two, I mean, we've seen it all play out, and we know how close they are. She basically takes a beat, like 20 seconds. She's like, who do I kill?
Yeah, and there's a scene where she walks up, and Hulk and Betty Ross were together. And I was like, this is a strange, unbeknownst to them, triangle.
Oh, like a love triangle.
Yeah.
It was cool to see like Mark Ruffalo with that character, even though it wasn't Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer. But
He got to redo his movie he missed.
yeah, right. He's like, look, I'm finally in it. All right, so then all the Avengers essentially are dead. Nick Fury has like 24 hours to figure out how to get whoever's doing this and basically get it back to Loki, or Loki's going to take over the whole world, he says. And Black Widow's on a computer. That's when we find out the funny password from Phil Coulson, and she discovers something about somebody named Hope. And if you're familiar with the movies and you know the MCU, you already know where we're going with this. Black Widow starts getting her ass kicked and then gets killed. I mean, right there in the lab. She's gone. Nick Fury is essentially the only one left. Phil Coulson's like, what are you going to do? He said, sometimes you got to choose, either dance with the devil or make a deal with God or something like that. And he walks and you don't know exactly what happens, but then he discovers Hope. That's right. Black Widow said Hope. And you're, of course, thinking of Hope Van Dyne.
Dyne.
Which I guess she didn't take her dad's name, Pym.
Yeah, I looked that up, and I guess
because she was on the outs with her dad like her whole life because of how it happened with her mom, and she was like mad.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah. So she just didn't take his name. She just changed her name.
So Nick Fury, what's he do? He goes to her grave. Hope's dead. Turns out she died being an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is like the big difference. This is what happened. This is what caused the whole what if. She is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That didn't happen in the first reality, the reality we know. And who comes out of the shadows in like kind of a hybrid Ant-Man? Yellow Jacket?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hybrid.
Dark yellow jacket.
Dark yellow. Hank Pym, just crazy. Crazy murderer. He's the one that's been behind all this.
Was that Michael Douglas?
That was Michael Douglas.
Okay.
That was him.
It was Michael Douglas.
Need to get that button. You guys do it so good, I don't need one.
Okay.
And it's him. He tells Nick Fury, he's like, you got my daughter killed. She came in, she was an agent, and he's like, that's why you're doing this? Like you killed Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Thor? And then he's like, yeah. And essentially he tries to fight Nick Fury. Oh, we get flashbacks though to all the kills. So this is the best, right? So first he's a little tiny thing. He was in Black Widow's syringe, and he just like
yes.
Then you get the Hulk. I almost want to save that one. You get Thor. All right, so Thor. Whenever Clint Barton had the arrow like this in the Thor movie, well, in this reality, Hank Pym shrunk down and just like flicked his thumb, and he let go of the arrow and shot.
But that killed Thor?
That killed Thor because Thor doesn't have his powers yet. It's at
Okay.
that point of his lineage. How's he kill? Oh, Black Widow, we already know, just beat the hell out of her. And
Hulk.
Clint Barton, I guess he just went in there and killed him because he was like being contained.
Yeah.
But Hulk, this is the coolest one. We get the shrinking down. He goes inside of the Hulk, all the way inside to here, Mike. And he takes one of his discs. And if you're familiar with Ant-Man pin particle powers, there's usually 2 discs. One disc, if you throw it, it shrinks the thing. But the other one, if you throw it and it hits it, it makes the thing exponentially like bigger. And he throws it at the Hulk's heart. And the heart grows and kills him. And that was the tie back to the Facebook group. That's why I said they could have gone that route with Thanos, even though we know all you needed was a Star-Lord T'Challa to go talk to him.
Maybe Thanos doesn't have a booty hole.
Yeah, but I think
How do we know?
You go in the mouth, the nose.
Oh, you're right.
You can go in any orifice.
Okay, you're right. Sorry, I didn't remember my
Come on,
Ant-Man science.
Did you forget about that's just basic anatomy. Okay, so he kills everybody, and then Hulk. What happened is Nick Fury teamed up with Loki, and basically beats Michael Douglas. They arrest him, and Loki decides at the last minute, like, well, you guys don't even have any heroes. What's he do? He takes over the whole planet in one day, and he's like the new world leader.
Nobody even barely died.
It was a good way to do it. It was like, a lot less. But Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, they're like, we're not done with this. And he goes and gets Cap out of the ice because he hasn't been brought out yet. That was like the same timing. And he also has Captain Marvel show up right at the last minute.
Both Caps.
Yeah, both Caps. Good call. And that was not Brie Larson.
Okay.
I'll say.
It wasn't.
I knew it. Thank you. Appreciate the help on that. We didn't get an Agent Hill in this one.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about her.
But anyway, that's a whole story. It was a lot of fun to talk about for sure. Because, you're just talking about the major Avengers just dying.
Yeah. Might give us your rating off of
our review.
It did sound better than the first one by far.
Not even close. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, that was strategy opening up with that really bad episode.
Should you open up with a really good one so you get people hooked to watch more?
They should just all be good.
That too.
T'Challa might have been a better Star-Lord than
Peter Quill.
So I could see, like, Andy, it's pretty close. But your excitement,
yeah,
I could tell you're starting to really like this.
I know.
Because you were very into retelling it. And now I think after you retold the story that you just did, I think you like it even more.
Have we been doing? We did ratings. We can go around.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, why don't you give us any final thoughts? But then you can end with your rating.
Yeah.
Anything we missed?
Like
too.
I said, this was just a great nostalgia throwback. Like, if you can even have nostalgia right now with this, because there's so much going on. But, like, yeah, there's just something about it that, like, brought me back to, like, the beginning.
Yeah.
To where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a podcast in 10 years where I talk about these things.
Yeah, right. It's perfect time. And then, like, you're so right. You're rewatching. You felt like you were in those movies again.
Yeah.
That's what was cool. What do you rate this one?
3.2.
I'm also a 3.2. And
we hang out too much.
Yeah, for sure. This is why we need Mike to weigh in sometimes. But maybe you'll watch it eventually. But
I'm gonna give it a 3 after you retold it.
Just based on you give my tell of it a 3?
Yeah.
That's a compliment. That's a real compliment.
I like how you switch it up and save the Hulk for last because that was the coolest one.
By far the coolest one. I did not see that coming of like him using the disc to grow the heart. Like I could have seen him like going in and just like getting bigger, but it was such a specific, like that was like a murder, you know? But it's still, I'm going to be honest too. That's a good rating because I feel like, again, you start off with something kind of low and you're like, you can't help but look back and be like, it's way better, but it still feels just a little strange. It's just a weird show. Yeah. It's just, I've never seen a show like this.
It would kind of be cool if we went back and rated each one based on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like throw out other things that we can compare this to.
Yep.
And just rate
what it is.
Show 1 through, what is it, 9?
I think there's gonna be 9 episodes.
And then like give a score. Like if it's the best one, it's a 3.9.
Yeah.
Because it can't be perfect in my mind.
These are hard to rate.
Perfect,
yeah, these are hard to rate. I'm not comparing them to other movies when I do my rating.
I'm not. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying
it's
to.
Too hard.
What are you comparing them to? You think
almost just each other?
Each other.
I don't know.
Each other, and then like I.
But wasn't the last episode a 3.2 for us?
It might have been.
It might have been.
So
but,
if you're comparing
but
it-
I would argue that like
I know we don't write this stuff down, so somebody.
so there's a lot of nostalgia with this.
Yeah.
And with the Star-Lord T'Challa, there's not as much because Guardians of the Galaxy is only like a little percentage, and so is Black Panther.
Mhm.
Like these are the Avengers. And there are 4 Avenger films.
Picked up the wrong boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. This is like, oh, Tony Stark's dead in 1 minute. Like it was just kind of wild. But if you just compare these as like the 2 episodes next to each other, I agree that they're probably about the same in quality. Like
Maybe
they're
that's
fun.
Maybe that's why they didn't pay Robert Downey Jr. an insane amount of money to have
Yeah.
many lines.
I agree.
Yeah, they're like, we could pay him $10 million for 10 minutes, or we could pay Bobby Ronnie Sr.
100K.
some generic brand Robert Downey Jr. to just read his one line.
Great value, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, like Will, like that's what Will did. He had that from Bussin' with the Boys. Oh yeah, you want to plug your hat real quick?
It was a cool hat. I'll
Got a
flip it
cool hat
around.
from fellow pod out there. One of my childhood best friends, Will Compton, Taylor Lewan over on Bussin' with the Boys. You got some merch, huh?
I did.
Looks
I love
fresh.
this hat. So I'll tell a quick story. The other day,
Go ahead.
Will posted a tweet video that was like, spend $69 in the store. First 12 people get this free hat. And I really just wanted the hat.
Yeah.
And I was within like, thought I was within like 5 minutes of the tweet coming out. So I was like, I'll buy some shit real quick, whatever.
Yeah.
They have good stuff. Bought it. I was fiddling around with PayPal too much, maybe. And I sent the email off to him. Evidently I wasn't one of the first 12 people. So I bought stuff and I ended up not even getting the thing that I really wanted. So,
Well, the first 12, that's not that many.
but how many people are spending $70 on this site? Like,
I mean,
Clearly enough.
yeah,
They
I know.
got like 100,000 followers or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
You're
they're
right.
they blow.
it's-
I mean, well, they're Barstool.
Yeah, Barstool's got
I was
that.
like 5 minutes. I can be quick, and I fucked up.
Well, you look fresh in the hat.
Thank you.
Looks good. They're gonna appreciate the support. Yeah, Bussin' with the Boys. If you're into football, if you're into buses, it's a good podcast for you.
Or you just
Or
like,
Budweiser. They're Budweiser and Chevy. Those are big like brands that work with them. So
Still
that's-
Budweiser?
It might not be
don't
with it might not be since they signed on with Barstool. You might be right. Yeah, I need to watch my words. Will be like, hey, watch those sponsorships.
no free ads.
yeah,
free
no,
ads.
yeah, no
No,
free
but they have good.
shout-outs.
They have great
Great guests.
interviews and stuff like that too. It's just not just football. They have all kinds of people on from
They-
all kinds of ranges.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He's a big Washington Redskins fan though.
You mean the Washington football team?
Yeah, but he's a grew up a Redskins fan.
All right, man. What if episode 3? We saw it. We watched it. It was fun. And we'll keep talking about these 6 to go for the rest of the summer, and we'll keep talking about it. And you can find this review along with all of the other MCU titles we've done in our MCU library, mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. Made some major updates to the website recently. We have categories on the site now, starting to make some buckets of stuff. So we got MCU, DCU, we got the music show. Fast and the Furious will be one category. I'm going to start breaking those out. I've decided I'm going to break up that one episode when we talked about every movie, and they're just going to be individual clips. So you're going to be able to have the whole Fast and Furious franchise in there. And then anything else we start identifying as a group of movies or something, we'll just keep adding to the list.
I love it. Categories, baby.
That's right. Go check it out. Upgrades happen all the time. We feature fans on there. You can subscribe, access to the Patreon page. But of course, importantly, go find our reviews, connections, and help you watch all of this crazy MCU madness because it's kind of hard to keep track of, and we're going to help you out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're switching universes, going over to DC, HBO Max, Titans, Season 3, Episode 4. Can't we talk about it with you two and the fans? Stick around. We'll be right back.
You've heard others, but nothing could prepare you for the shameful stupidity that is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Hear Imran,
So if you offend everyone at once, it's a wash. I've covered everybody.
Anthony,
Sorry, I was texting. Say that again.
and Rug Boy
Yeah, whenever there's a snowstorm, my Slack hole tightens up.
as they talk over one another.
Just exactly the
John
same
Connor
as,
was a
as
fucking Terminator.
We're talking over each other. It's fine.
Sorry.
Swear
I had boobies.
and ask you for money.
Just give us the money.
Witness the hubris as they claim to be the world's authority on comic book movies.
Who said?
Never said that. You've never said that.
Who cares? A jock said that.
Comic book, TV, movie reviews, news, and whatever they choose. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Campy, silly, goofy fun.
Seriously, people really listen to this.
Jock and Nerd.
The meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with PC Mike and the Giggler, talking about all sorts of fun stuff, and now we're getting into the DC universe. Talking about Titans, Season 3 on HBO Max. It's the first season on HBO. We talked about episodes 1 through 3 last week, which was so much fun. I think you can tell a lot about how we feel about this show just about how we talk about it, and that was one of those that none of us needed any notes, and it was 3 episodes. You would think that'd be a little daunting.
Mhm.
I had a blast talking about this show, and I'm excited to talk about episode 4, titled Blackfire. Spoiler alert for the episode. We are going to get into the details, all the nitty-gritty, talk about what happened, and prepare for next week. Devastated by the loss. By loss. So what happened at the end? Big spoiler alert for those episodes. Hank's done. Hawk's gone. He's blown up. Red Hood.
Rip.
Just gone. Had a bomb in his chest. Dove pointing a gun at Red Hood. He says, shoot me and you'll save him. She shoots him. Turned out this was the detonator. He's gone. The Titans are reeling. The description reads, devastated by loss, the Titans find themselves in disarray while Dick throws himself into drawing out Red Hood with Jonathan Crane, a.k.a. Scarecrow, Corey, that's Starfire, and Gar, that's Beast Boy, work to understand Starfire's escalating visions, leading them to a surprise source. Let's get into it right now, talk about this week's episode. I think we all can agree. We talked about this a little bit when you guys walked in. Episode 4, I think there's going to be, we can assume there's probably going to be like 10 episodes of this. Do we even know? Do we know how many episodes yet?
No, I'm on Wikipedia right now.
I do not know.
All they put
8,
up,
9, or 10, you would think,
All they put up is that the next episode's coming out on the 26th.
Interesting. It's like they're keeping it like under wraps or something. We couldn't figure it out last week either.
Let me look and see.
Yeah, we got time here. We're going to talk about the whole thing. If you guys want to poke around on the internet.
I was going to look and see what the other seasons were and just kind of guesstimate. I know it's now on HBO Max, so it's a little different.
Well, and we know HBO is crazy. They do like these 6-episode things and 8 episodes and 10. I think it was, go ahead.
Scheduled to conclude at 13 episodes.
13. Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's
Okay.
about the first 2 were, I think.
It was
Yeah.
like a little bit more. And these we've also talked about are a little bit shorter. This one clocks in at 42 minutes total. So, I mean, you end up with like about a
35.
35. And this felt like an episode 4. It was good.
Mhm.
It was a good pace, a little slower than the first 3 that were just ramp. You need a little exposition.
This isn't a knock, but it felt like a CW show a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
A good one.
A good one. Still like a fun
Not
story.
a filler episode or something, but yeah.
Definitely not as gory. This was a
No.
little bit more friendly. Giller, what'd you think of this episode? Compared to the first 3, not as exciting, I'm sure you feel, but what'd you think?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we talked about last week, like every episode can't have the hype and the just craziness of the first 3.
You need the downtime.
I think there was just, we needed some, I don't even want to call this filler. Like it was still a very enjoyable episode.
No,
But,
yeah.
it was like an easy ride.
I kind of knew this was coming because like we see that it was going to kind of revolve around Corey.
Yeah.
And like, that's a story that we need to find out more about. But like, I feel like the majority of people are not all in on that storyline. We're more kind of focusing on Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, Batman, Scarecrow. Am I wrong there?
No, hand up.
Any-
I don't care.
I do care. I'm into it. I'm into all the characters. I like hearing all about all of them. I really do. But
That's a PC answer.
it's a true answer though. I'll always be honest. But I'll tell you this though. Every time Batman comes up, that's everything else goes to the wayside. I don't care. Tell me more about Batman.
Yeah.
Get Batman back on screen. Get this Batman in a suit. Let's go. Like, come on, HBO. I mean, we're gonna get it. There's gonna be some like epic return eventually.
He needs like a redemption. I feel like he's not been a great Batman so far.
He seems like almost like evil and like a little
Yeah.
mentally broken. He
Yeah.
also seems like a pathological liar.
And like using people.
Kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it in this one. What he
Yeah.
did with Dick Grayson to get him trained. So let's just talk about it. We come off that episode. Hank's dead. Dove says, "I'm going to Paris." Really nice jet. Dick, I guess, maybe set her up with Bruce Wayne money. I don't know where they get all this money. It's got to be like Wayne money.
Has to be.
And she's like, "I'm getting out of Dodge." She just wants to get away. She doesn't want to be around it anymore. Back at the house, Gar's just trying to keep everybody together. He's cooking pizzas in that nice wood fire oven.
Wish I had one of those.
Me too, especially after seeing that. I was like, that looks fun.
Yeah.
And what happens immediately? Same thing we've been seeing throughout the first 3 episodes. Starfire comes in blasting again, sleepwalking, whatever you want to call it, blasting him with fire, gets him on the arm, and long story short, she's having visions of this place, like this hospital type place. It's been happening the whole time. What you got?
It has nothing to do with this, but
Oh, go ahead.
the Always Sunny when Danny DeVito said, "I just go in and I start blasting," and he's got his gun. He kept saying blasting.
She is. She's blasting fire out. And anytime we can sneak an Always Sunny reference in there, you go ahead.
It's fine.
And she ends up sleepwalking so bad to where she drives a car across God knows where, takes Gar with him in the trunk. What's up with why'd she bring him? Turns out she's getting, let's just jump to it. She's like basically getting kind of like visions and now like mind control from her sister. So her sister we met in season 2. She came in, messed a bunch of stuff up, basically attacked Starfire. What's her name? The sister. Blackfire. It's the name of the episode.
Oh.
I wonder if there's going to be like a...
Let's not forget to talk about the episode title for next week once we get there.
Once we get there.
Yeah,
Let's see how
I
it's
don't want to say that now.
No, we will. We'll get into Prediction Town. All right. Blackfire. What do you got? You got something to share?
No, that's not the title I saw on
It's not the
Instagram.
title that Andy saw.
Well,
We'll get there.
You guys are really scouring the internet for the help today. We need it though because we're trying to figure out everything for this show. So that's what's happening on that side, and we'll talk more about that, and we could probably just wrap up that story very quickly. So she gets to this U.S. base where basically there's a single one guy scientist out in the middle of nowhere. They have Blackfire hooked up in a cage that like keeps her powers dampened. And do you guys remember the planet she's from?
Nope.
And if you don't, I bet it's right there on that page in the encyclopedia.
Ooh, nice plug.
Yeah, that's right. We got the DC Encyclopedia. I already had it open to the Teen Titans page. See if you can find Starfire on there, Andy. I think she is listed.
You know how stressed out.
What are
this
you
gets
looking
me.
for?
I'm curious to see what planet they're from. They say it in the episode, and I'm already forgetting. So I want to like make sure it's at least we get the planet name right, because she's from another planet. She came here to get Raven. That was her whole thing in season 1, and now she's a good guy.
Tamarians?
Yes, that's it. Tamarians. And
I looked it up. I looked up there was a Wikipedia link from Blackfire, and I went to her, and then I saw
Princess
Good job.
Corland of Tamaran.
of Tamaran.
Tamaran.
And then she has his sister, Blackfire, and apparently this is like kind of like, think about how if you caught Superman and you wanted to like keep his powers down, you would do kind of what they did to her. Red Sun, like they've got like anti-energy things, but their powers are basically strength and like green glowy eyes and then like blasting fire out of their hands. And essentially she's wrestling with, do I kill my sister? Because I think she killed like a lover of hers in season 2, if I remember correctly. Like she killed like some friend of hers or a lover or something. And this is why like she's locked up. But then she decides in the end, I'll take my sister with me. I'll take the chance. You get a little fight scene in there. It's okay. But her sister and Gar leave, and then they take off. Right? Am I missing anything there? Anything interesting in the scientist cave? Like, who was that guy? Who's that
Yeah,
scientist?
that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, this doesn't seem. He said he was working alone, but that can't be right.
I thought it might be like Ryan Chang or something. Like
I'm interested to see where that goes. Who's that?
Isn't that like a DC like scientist like kid like Ryan Chang, I think? But either way, they didn't really say his name. He's just some kind of dorky guy. Maybe he comes back around, maybe not. I thought he was good though. Good actor. Okay, on the other side, the stuff that you guys are much more interested in, right? Dick Grayson, still reeling from Hank being killed by Red Hood. He puts all this together.
Are they kind of reeling though? It felt like it was kind of like in What If, where they're just like,
Who do I kill?
Hank's gone.
It was. Like,
All right.
It was. Like, Dawn didn't seem even that sad. She was like, I'm going to go to Paris.
But then the what's his name, Superboy or whatever.
He took it hard.
He took it hard.
Well,
And I
because
didn't know-
he was trying to save him.
I didn't know if he had feelings, like if he had that part yet. Like
He's
I don't know.
half Superman, half Lex Luthor. So like he has like the good in him, and he's also like he also had that one mean comment to Gar. He's like, "What? I'm supposed to listen to a talking tiger?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Don't be mean
That's
to him."
the Lex Luthor in you.
It was.
It's gonna come out more, for sure. I think
I-
this is what's gonna cause him to maybe unravel. Just
Can you imagine Lex Luthor basically with Superman powers? Give it to me.
it's a scary thought. They better keep that dude in line.
Hey, you'd be like Homelander.
We'll give you a nicer T-shirt
Better, yeah, like a Lex Luthor T-shirt
if you behave yourself.
But he's being hard on himself, and yeah. So Dick basically figures everything out. Like there wasn't. They didn't really let us.
There wasn't.
They didn't let us know about it.
No, there wasn't much like detective work.
There wasn't.
You know?
He just goes in. What's he do? He finds out Jonathan Crane's being moved from what Belle Reve or
Yeah.
Arkham to go to
Blackgate.
Blackgate. And he finds this out, and Dick goes and basically takes Scarecrow with him out to some training facility, a cabin in the woods, middle of nowhere, where apparently Bruce trains his young boys.
Sounds so bad.
Well, it is,
Out in the
especially
woods.
when you see like what he has him do.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is, listen, you've been working with Red Hood. You're the one who made him the way he is and controlling him. And basically, Scarecrow admits it, right? Like, this was out of nowhere a little. Didn't one of you call this, though?
I think he referenced the
The
theory.
Oh, yeah.
The theory.
That he's giving him the gas or whatever.
Well, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But, like, there wasn't a lot of exposition. Oh, you know what the next episode will be? It'll be Flashback Town.
Flashback.
Yeah, we'll get Flashback Town of him going to Scarecrow, how it all played out. It won't be quite what we think, but something like what we think. And his whole thing is Red Hood, a.k.a. Jason Todd, will come here because he knows this place, and he is cocky enough to think that he can break you out of here. That's what Dick Grayson says. Turns out he's right. Shows up. Dick Grayson, a.k.a. Nightwing, gets the jump on him, and let me know if I'm skipping anything big there.
No, you're good.
You're good.
And they have an epic fight in the woods for a minute.
I'm just going to say right here that you have a tremendous storytelling ability to
Well-
where I sit here and I stumble over my words and I'm like, this happened and then this happened.
I can't believe he recalls it so well. I
and
know you
then-
just watched it.
Yeah, I also watched this one. Like as you guys were walking in, like the cars are pulling up, I had to hit stop, like I hadn't done it. So it's just really fresh. But hey, appreciate the compliments. I'll take the kudos. Obviously, like I had this kind of in mind when I started the podcast. If you're gonna put a microphone in front of your face and talk about this stuff, you got to try to remember it. But all right, so they fight. Really good fight scene. I wish there was a little more. And basically, Barbara Gordon screws the whole thing up because she's like, you can't just take my prisoners away from Arkham. Like, because that's what Dick did. He just picked him up, took it. Barbara Gordon sends a helicopter, basically shoots Nightwing with like a 50 cal, puts him down on the ground.
Or aiming it.
Yeah,
Red Hood.
Yeah.
She did say, take the shot
She did.
at Red Hood,
She did. Well, he said the target,
the target.
and then it broke.
That is a good catch.
And they broke him. It like shot in the middle of him and kind of like split him apart.
Because we were talking about
Is
how
she
we were thinking
good
she
or
might
is
be
she
bad. Yeah, be something different. I'm
Well,
sure
and you're
there's-
also like, what else has she been up to? These are gonna be more like flashbacks, I bet too. What's she up to really?
You're right. I mean, there was already an episode titled Barbara Gordon, though, which is kind of
That's
throws
true.
me off. You'd think that would be the backstory, but hey, I'm here for all of the above storylines because this has been very entertaining so far.
Yeah, for sure. And then Red Hood
Gone.
Crane escapes.
Crane gets away too. Like, how did he get out from the force field?
I don't know.
That's
what I thought.
You
He
think
hit the-
Jason wouldn't let him out?
Maybe.
I saw him hit the force field, and I was like, "Oh, okay, he ain't going anywhere." And
He hit
then-
that force field, and I go,
Did the
Dick's
bullet-
thought of everything.
Did the bullet do something?
Maybe
I don't know.
something, but he's gone. They're both gone. Dick goes back in, and he's like, "Shoot, one thing I didn't mention. That's the end of the episode. Essentially, they all get away, and Dick's
Or I mean, Jonathan Crane's a scientist. He might have figured it out or something.
yeah. You just give him a minute.
Yeah.
And Dick's back at square one essentially, that's how they need to end this because the Titans got to get back together and figure this out together. That's the whole thing. It's called Titans, not called Nightwing.
Yeah.
All right. We also get a flashback of a young Dick Grayson training in those woods with Batman. What's he do? Gets getting chased by a wolf. Cuts the wolf's head off. That was wild. And Batman just standing there like, good. Let the hate flow through you. I mean, you're right. This Batman, it's a real dark take on Batman training Robin.
Yeah. I want to like him. And I don't really like this Batman.
He's like a bad guy. But like that's also what they're making us think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thoughts on the episode? What I missed? You guys got any notes? You got anything to add? Let's get some just feelings on how this episode was and any predictions for what's going to go down in episode 5. And did we get that title?
Okay, so we have conflicting reports here.
Ooh, I like it. Drama.
Heroic Hollywood Instagram posted 2 days ago. New Titans, season 3, episode 5. Lazarus.
So
anytime you see that word, you know what's coming.
Back from the dead.
And Mike, what did Wikipedia say?
Wikipedia says Lady Vic, which I looked up, is a antagonist of Nightwing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I see. It's like a Nightwing bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you of the two. If I had my choice, obviously I want this Lazarus title.
Oh yes, please. Even
And
though
every time Oliver Queen got involved with that Lazarus pit on Arrow and CW, you're like, this is gonna be cool.
But it does say on, even if you click Lady Vic's Wikipedia, it says she will appear in the 3rd season of HBO's Titans by Kimberly Sue Murray.
Okay. So we don't have a confirmation on this title still?
know.
Maybe we won't know until like the day of. It seems
Which
like
is
HBO's
tomorrow.
It seems like HBO's keeping this stuff like close to the vest. This stuff's usually like a lot more public, but
Well.
I feel like within the streaming world, they're not as like. Usually they'd be like, there's gonna be 15 episodes, and here's your schedule. But now it's like, you don't really know how many episodes there are for sure. What's the title gonna be?
Yeah, COVID might delay things, ruin everything.
Maybe,
Please.
or maybe that's what it is too.
Probably
Where they're
not.
like, we can't release too much. Like that'd be crazy if they took a break. That ain't gonna happen.
Even on Rotten Tomatoes, episode 5,
Yeah,
nothing.
just nothing.
blank.
It's just blank. See,
I
like,
wonder if
IMDb, like.
I wonder if those kind of like wait till it's actually released before they put a title there.
Yep, and maybe these are like rumors that are like kind of leaking.
But yeah, Lazarus.
Lazarus.
Uh,
So that could mean like, if it goes Lazarus route, I mean, what we're thinking is Jason Todd somehow got resurrected.
I guess it's a possibility.
IMDb, nothing.
And we still don't know anything, nothing new on a lot of stuff. Nothing new about the Joker, nothing new about Batman really in this one. Just kind of like a little side story.
Yeah, 9 more to go.
9 more to go. That's true. A lot. Okay, cool. Any final thoughts from you, PC Mike, on this one? How's it going all right for you still so far? 4 in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty invested. I think it's and I don't want to keep saying like a WB show,
Mhm.
but I'm really glad I'm on pace now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not behind like 2 seasons and have to catch up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's so much more manageable to watch one a week
Yep.
than it is to try to binge a season to get it in to kind of get caught up. So.
Unless a season's really good.
Yeah.
Because those first 2 are just a little rough.
Like what's Arrow, 26 episodes, an hour, 45 minutes each.
For me, it's like it's hard to even compare the two because I mean those shows have 20 to 24 episodes. I mean, hell, Lost still to this day one of the best of all time. But I mean, it's a lot, even just 6 seasons. I remember like Supernatural. Like I love Supernatural, but I would always say like I'm not going to tell you to watch Supernatural because there were 15 seasons. Like,
There's 15 seasons of
Yeah.
Supernatural.
Network TV.
and I still am upset that it ended. I hope they come back. Hope Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki come back. I really hope so. Either way, though, this is HBO, man, and they're bringing it. A lot of fun. Can't wait for episode 5, and we'll keep talking about it.
There's 327 episodes of Supernatural.
Oh yeah, and they get a little like cookie cutter, but they're also not like I love every single episode. I mean, I'm thinking about rewatching it now that we're talking about it.
Attaboy.
You like it?
I've never seen it, but
Oh,
I love when
you'd enjoy
when
it.
you love a show that much, it just, like you said, Lost. I feel the same way about that. I could watch that unlimited times and still enjoy it every single time.
Yeah, we'll definitely start doing like our top 10s or something. Like we can have our own individual top 10s and like the show top 10s. We're gonna start consolidating all of our scores and start getting some data points around how we talk about this stuff. It's gonna paint an interesting picture, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much that me and you like every superhero thing, and Mike brings us back down.
Yeah. If you watched all Supernatural, it would
Oh,
be
man.
Don't even tell me.
it would be like 229 hours.
I don't even know. It's hard for me to like.
It's
Is
10
that like?
days.
Because I did
Oh, is it?
Almost.
That's not bad. Straight. That'd be a fun 10 days.
because the run time's 38 to 45 minutes, so I just did 42 times 327 divided by 60 for hours.
Yeah, that's
A lot.
Like I said, I don't tell people to go watch it because it's so many. But now that I'm thinking about it, if you got the time, I mean, hell, it's a fun show. Either way, Titans, HBO Max. Any final thoughts from you two? Feeling good about it? We'll do episode 5 next week.
I can't wait this will be out for us tomorrow. Listeners will probably have already watched it by the time they hear this, but
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, by the time you're listening right now, like there's already another one. Go get it.
love it.
All right, we'll do it next week. We have this review along with all of our other DC reviews at our brand new DC Universe library, mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU. You can find that in our new categories option whenever you find it at our website at mostlysuperheroes.com. We got the Snyder Cut in there. We got Titans. We got James Gunn, Suicide Squad, Superman 1 and 2, and more and more and more. It's going to keep happening, and we're going to keep adding to it. Go check it out. and we'll keep the DC fresh on Mostly Superheroes. Let's talk about what's coming up. Good time to be a podcast called Mostly Superheroes. Plenty to talk about each week. Don't even have to try anymore. It's like that first year.
This was quite a week.
Oh my gosh. It's like that first 4 months was just like, what are we going to talk about? Now it's like we don't even have to try to get a meet. It's just happened. 2 superhero TV shows in 1 week. And it's just like over and over and over.
Did the Eternals trailer come out this week too? And we didn't even talk about it.
We didn't even really talk about the Eternals trailer, and then we barely snuck the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer in it, and then Venom got delayed. Like it's like I'm trying to keep the slides like under 20, you know, it's like impossible. But speaking of stuff that's coming up, Marvel Studios Phase 4, the MCU is happening. We're talking about What If every week, and Shang-Chi had their premiere, the red carpet premiere, but it's still debuting September 3rd. So if you're listening right now on Monday, this is just this is this week, and Giggler. We got tickets, and
Mike's joining us.
No, he's not.
I'm probably not going.
Oh, you didn't get tickets yet?
No.
All right.
You thought about it?
I'm out of town this weekend and next weekend.
Spider-Man, you're in. I don't care what you have going on.
I promise I will go to Spider-Man.
I don't expect you to see Eternals with us.
I actually would.
Or?
Eternals does more for me than this Shang-Chi.
That's Shang-Chi.
Whatever.
People say it wrong. Me and Andy have read about it, so we try to say it right.
Simu Liu.
I always thought you were saying it wrong.
I've been
I wasn't going to
practicing.
correct you because you're the host.
No, yeah. Andy actually called me out one day. Was like, actually, there's a whole thing about this. It's Shang-Chi, so I'm trying to do it right. And I told you this in the group chat. No one ever watch anything you don't want to watch. Like, that's the whole point of this show: is don't be watching stuff you don't really want to see, and we figure it out.
I hear good things though. I've heard the reviews are great.
People coming out of this thing, like on theaters and talking about it online, like people taking videos of themselves just being like, this is a magical movie. Like, it's just like wowing people.
On IMAX too. That's what I'm most excited for. I was kind of wowed by. I wasn't huge into IMAX. Like, I never really appreciated it for what it was until we saw Suicide Squad, and I was like, look at that weasel penis. It's massive.
It's so massive, even though it's so little on the weasel. All right, so we'll go see it. We'll see this thing in theaters, and you can watch for a review for it. We'll have it, the week after that, and get in the studio and talk about Shang-Chi. And then just for you, Mike, you getting excited? November 5th, we'll have the Eternals, and also in November is the Hawkeye show.
Is Miss Marvel a show too?
Yeah, and they still haven't released a date for that. That's still just slated as 2021 per the internet.
Yeah, a lot of
Internet's never been
a
wrong.
lot of speculation. Miss Marvel might be next year.
Yeah, I could see them switching that around.
I mean, as long as we have most weeks with the show dropping or a movie. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
right. We start complaining because we have a week off. I look forward to it. Whenever we get this downtime and all we have is like these TV shows, I'm like, let's take a breather. This is great.
Let's watch Superman 4 now.
Three.
Shit.
We will. It's on the list. And we'll, of course, keep talking about Titans each week. We just talked about it, 13 episodes, it sounds like, most likely. We'll see if anything changes, but we're only 4 down now.
We should every week mark out a character that's dead.
That's a good idea. Just,
so Hawk, see ya.
You just put the X. And we'll be talking about that too, and plenty of other stuff as well. We'll keep you apprised of the news. We'll talk about fans. We'll stay involved with the Mostly Superhero Squad on Facebook. We got more YouTube subscribers coming in. We got people writing into the show and saying good job. We got a lot of love out here, having a lot of fun. Giggler, another week, another time. Well, yeah, let's give the squad the old Giggler sign off. What do you want to say?
Yeah, buddy, just looking at this schedule, I just know I need to get on Twitch more.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a lie. Like I especially since I started the full-time gig, I'm on. Basically, I look at this and I'm like, well, I do get on Instagram on Wednesdays. I do get on Twitch on Thursdays, and I promise you guys, I want to start bringing the reruns back to where we just broadcast like last week's episode. That's like such an easy thing to do. Throw it on, and you can see the video. But you can follow us, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on Tumblr. We're on Pinterest.
OnlyFans?
We're not on OnlyFans, not since they're kicking people off and outing them.
I think it's back.
Yep.
I think they're turning back.
It's coming back.
What do you mean it's coming back?
Like
Sorry,
they stopped. They were gonna not do explicit content, but I think they were like, oh, we're not gonna make any money now, so they changed their mind.
Well, yeah, there's been so many scandals. I saw some story, which I don't have the article or anything. It was just me reading my personal time about some nurse that was outed at her hospital, and she was like, I didn't use my real name. I didn't. This is totally on my free time. and a group of nurses turned her in to. And I was like, "Hey, man, she's just taking pictures of her shirt, you know."
Yeah, who cares?
I don't care. I want to know people that are like that use. I always think about like the customer base for OnlyFans. I want to meet some real subscribers that really love it.
We start filming episodes with our shirts off. And it's like, this episode is for OnlyFans only.
We have this is our Patreon episode. Okay, this is our OnlyFans episode. That shirt's off.
Put our feet up, like look at our toes.
People will pay us not to do that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
PC Mike, what you got for the squad this week as we sign off?
I got some encouragement coming. My favorite time of year is creeping upon us. It is almost fall.
Mm-hmm.
We had the hottest day, I believe, of the year today. We made it through summer. If I'm working, I want fall. So, football, chili, sweaters, hot drinks, all the things that come with fall. We're here. We made it through another hot, humid Missouri summer. We're on the downslope. Labor Day, as me and Logan's hometown, it is huge.
Yep.
Great things on the horizon. We got shows coming. We got movies coming. We got content coming. It's a great time to be alive.
This guy.
We're all coming.
Come all ye faithful.
You know what else is coming up? And that's part of that same category. Be our second Halloween special.
Ooh.
Oh, my God, yes.
I mean, I don't know what we're going to dress up as this year, but I think we need to think it through. I've got all sorts of ideas, like for like group outfits.
Okay.
But I also feel like the independent, like just the mix of variety is fun too. But you can count on that. We did one last year. Andy was Spider-Man. Mike dressed up as like 50 different wrestlers.
I just had the heads. I didn't go do full change. Maybe I should.
That was great.
We'll see. We're going to bring it back. I'm with you, man. I love the fall. Ready to, especially out, St. Louis. These summers, man, they get brutal with this heat. I'm ready to chill out, wear some flannel.
Yep.
Go to some beer festivals.
Mm-hmm. Best time of the year.
Best time of the year. You guys love football, and he's going to have two things on his TV as always. And
yes, please.
I mean, it's also the best time for a podcast too. You know, it gets a little chilly, just like we're just hunkered down here. Maybe we'll get some hot chocolate going for us.
The beer was a nice touch today. Thanks for that.
It was a little midweek beer. You know, it's like Peacemaker said in Suicide Squad. A little drink didn't hurt nobody. Something like that.
Founders All Day IPA.
Yeah, unofficially.
No free ads.
Yeah, no free ads. Yeah. But I love those all days.
Yeah, I give it a 3.1 out of 4.
For the beer rating? Hey, we can start doing some beer ratings on here. Listener, thanks for joining us again this week. Go subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook. You can watch video there, and anywhere you get your podcasts. We appreciate you. We know that you're telling your friends about us, your family, and we'll see you next week and talk about more fun stuff. Until then, take it easy.